Next we talk about brushless DC motors. The conventional DC motors, those have an arrangement of brushes and commutator segments, and through that arrangement rotor windings are supplied with currents. That arrangement has certain disadvantages. Firstly, that arrangement requires a very frequent maintenance, repair and maintenance, because there are moving mechanical parts, brushes and commutator segments, and due to wear and tear it requires maintenance. The second advantage is sparking. There is sparking between commutator segments that also degrades the performance and life of a DC motor. Compared to that, brushless DC motors do not have any commutator and brush arrangement. Therefore, these motors have better performance and better efficiency, and these also require less maintenance. Furthermore, there is no sparking between the commutator segments, and hence these motors are capable of running at very high speeds. You know that sparking in commutator segments, that was somehow related with the speed of the motor. More was the speed, more was the voltage difference between two commutator segments that resulted into sparking. So here we do not have any commutator segments, so we do not have any sparking. Therefore, rotor of this brushless DC motor can run at very high speed. The working and construction of a brushless DC motor is quite similar to that of a stepper motor. We have just talked about stepper motor with the diagram that we utilized to describe the working of stepper motor. It was the same diagram. We have a rotor, generally a permanent magnet with north and south pole, and on the stator we have multiple coils. These coils are connected to this voltage source through a control unit. This control unit connects one of these coils at one time instance, and which coil is to be connected with this voltage source, that is decided by a position sensor. In case of stepper motor, there was a control signal. Here, in case of brushless DC motor, we have this control unit gets the information from position sensor. Position sensor is somewhere on the rotor, which senses the position of the rotor. So how does it work is that, for example, initially rotor is at this position. The position sensor will sense the position of the rotor, and then it will excite this coil, coil AA dash, that is positive end of this voltage source will be connected to A, and negative end will be connected to A dash. That is, this will be the direction of current which will be flowing in the coil, and due to that current a magnetic field will be produced. What will be direction of that magnetic field? Direction will be upward, can be determined by the right hand rule. Current entering here, leaving here. So here will be the flux density vector due to the stator, and then here is the flux density vector due to rotor. The two magnetic fields will align itself, so rotor will rotate to this position. So as soon as this rotor reaches this position or is close to reach to this position sensor gives the information of position of that rotor to control unit. So as soon as this rotor reaches this position, this control unit will excite this coil. It will remove the voltage from this coil, and it will excite this coil, so that the flux density vector, stator flux density vector, is in this direction. Current entering from here, leaving from here. So this is flux density vector. That is positive end of the voltage source will be connected to C dash, and negative end will be connected to C. So now again the rotor will rotate to move to this position. So as soon as this rotor reaches this position or is about to reach to this position, this control unit will again disconnect this coil and then connect this coil BB dash with the voltage source. Due to that, this flux density vector will be now oriented in this direction. This is Vs, current entering from here, leaving from here. So this is flux density vector. So rotor will rotate to this position, this new position, with now north pole moved to this position and south pole rotated at this point. And this situation will continue at next time instant. Flux density vector will be in this direction, that is, this coil AA dash will be excited with positive end connected over here and negative end connected over here. So what is difference between the stepper motor and this brushless DC motor? The difference is over here. In case of a stepper motor, we had a control input over here, and we changed the connections of these coils whenever there was a pulse on this this input. In case of brushless DC motor, instead of this control input, we have the information about the position of the rotor, and based upon the position of the rotor, this control unit decides which coil has to be excited. This arrangement, which is described over here, is just a conceptual diagram to demonstrate the working of a brushless DC motor. We can have several further improvements on this basic arrangement. For example, we can have more number of coils on it, and one important thing is that for case of brushless DC motors, we have a cylindrical rotor. It is not a salient pole rotor like this one. Cylindrical rotor with some axis for its magnet. So why do we have a cylindrical rotor? Because brushless DC motors are generally designed to rotate at high speeds, and this particular arrangement, that is salient pole arrangement, that can result into high vibrations. Compared to that, this will produce less vibration because this structure is more symmetrical. So brushless DC motors are they are more efficient. They require less repair and maintenance, and however these have additional cost, and furthermore these are available only in small sizes with small power ratings. In the next lecture, we shall talk about another very useful motor, that is the universal motor, and that will conclude our course, inshallah.